Hey YouTube, it's Zyloc with Media Hindsight. As you can see, I'm finally in my new place. That's why it's been about a month since I've got to put out a new video. But today I want to take a look back at my experience at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo 2014. So this year's Portland Retro Gaming Expo was a really cool experience for me. It ran from October 18th to the 19th. I was only there on the 18th, but I had a great time. I didn't feel rushed to see anything. Didn't feel rushed to do any of my shopping or anything like that. So 1 or 2 days is great, whichever amount of time that you can put towards it. Due to my move, I only had that one day that I could put into it, but not a big deal. When you get into the Oregon Convention Center, you'll get your pass, you walk in, you'll get your swag bag like this, and you'll fill it up with all your goodies. This is most of mine. And you're going to need it, because if you don't have a bag going in there, you're going to wish you had one, because you're just going to be carrying everything by hand, and that's not a good time there, because you're definitely going to find things you're going to get. But you're gonna walk in, and there's a lot of stuff to see right away. The big room that it's in is absolutely huge, and when you walk in to your right, you're gonna see an enormous arcade. Probably I'd say anywhere between 100 and 150 arcade games, and they're all free to play. That's worth the price of admission by itself. All the classics. You can think of Asteroids, Galaga, Donkey Kong, Pac-Man. They even have a bunch of pinball machines, and they had a bunch of 4-player Gauntlet, Gauntlet Dark Legacy, Gauntlet 2 machines up. They were really cool, and it was crowded over there. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of games, but there's a lot of people here too. So expect, especially in the later half of the day, after 5 p.m., 6 p.m., after all of the vendors close down. There's definitely a line to wait for the games, because most of them will be full. But if you get some time in during the day, you'll definitely be able to get some free machines. And if you go to this expo, pay the price of admission and only play the arcade games, that more than pays for itself. That is a really cool touch that they added there. Other than that, they also have a whole bunch of tables set up with TVs and consoles attached to them. So you can play test games that you purchased. Or anything like that. That's really cool. You can sit down now, just several controllers hooked up to each one, so you can play with your friends. Really cool experience there. Another thing is the 2014 Tetris World Championship was held there. They had a nice little sectioned off part where you could sign up, go in, test your luck, see how good you are. And they're also shooting a documentary about the event there. So if you wanted to be in that documentary, definitely go ahead and participate in the Tetris 2014 World Championship. That was a nice little feature too. And past that, it's mostly just vendors. 2/3 of this huge room, probably even more than that, is vendors. And there was over 200 this year. And that's anything from, vendors of games, game stores, or, even art, and like t-shirts and stuff like that. All kinds of really cool stuff. Any game you could want to find, you're going to find a lot of them here. All the rarest, maybe not, but what, the prices were right. They weren't too bad. Definitely better than you're probably going to be paying on eBay. But just so many games that you can barely look through all of them in the 1 to 2 days that you would be there. But that's the fun, really, because you'll find a lot of stuff that you're not used to seeing. Like, they had tons of in-box, like, new consoles, and Japanese and American games alike. A lot of cool stuff there, ranging from, as old as it gets to as new as it gets. They had everything there. The things that really stuck out with me, though, was, all of the artwork, the t-shirts, action figures, stuff like that you could buy here. One of the things that really blew my mind was there was a huge market for what I'd call pixel bead art, where artists will glue little pieces, little multicolored beads together, and it looks like perfect 2D pixel art from like the Nintendo or Super Nintendo. And it looks absolutely amazing. And if you look at it from a distance, it looks just like the artwork from the game. And some of them are just one model. Let's say it's like Simon from Castlevania 2, or they'll do a whole bunch of them. They do like Ryu and Ken and Guile from Street Fighter, and they do kind of like a 3-dimensional setup, and it looks absolutely fantastic. But those were really, really expensive. You're looking anywhere between $30 to $150 depending upon the size of this artwork. But it's definitely really cool, and definitely something a lot of people would want to add to their collection, especially in their gaming room. On top of that, there are lots of t-shirt vendors with lots of very cool t-shirts from all sorts of games. Zelda, Mario, Pokemon, even newer games like Mass Effect, stuff like that. Really cool. That's an easy way to lose a lot of money. They're not badly priced, but you'll see a lot of them that you'll want. They got a lot of good deals going. Me and my buddy who went, we ran into one where they were selling, you can get 2 t-shirts and a poster. I think it was 3 t-shirts and a poster for $50, I believe, which is really good because the t-shirts are about $15 and the posters are about $10. But yeah, the posters were really cool too, be it from classic gaming artwork to even new stuff that people have come up with that's just really, really creative, and it stands out a lot. On top of that, there was also a lot of YouTube and video game celebrities there as well. I got to meet people ranging from Gamester81. I got to meet him. I got to play his new game that he's working on. That was a lot of fun. Let's see here. A really cool one is, I don't know if you guys have heard of them, but watch out for Fireballs. It's a video game podcast that I got introduced to actually the day before I went there. My buddy that I went with listens to it all the time, and they do very informative, in-depth video game coverage. And I got a chance to meet them. They're really cool guys, and they were, holding a little challenge at their booth where you'd play them in Street Fighter 2, and if you won, you got to put into a drawing for a Guile action figure and stuff like that. So that was really fun. Let's see, what else? And I went into the event, I think I took about $200, and that was not enough. If you're going to walk into this event, I would go with at least $300 or $400 if you can handle. If you can handle that, definitely go in with a budget. Don't go in with more money than you're willing to spend, because I guarantee that you're going to spend it, because there is so much cool stuff to be had here. Other cool things is independent developers actually had booths where they were showing off their games, play testing them, and trying to get support rally behind them, and let people know. And that was really cool too. I play tested a few games, and I'm definitely glad that they let them do that, because I think that's a great outlet for them to reach out to fans. So another thing too is they, besides just selling of the games and selling of other merchandise, there's also 2 auditoriums set up, and there's a schedule about every hour or every other hour. There's a speaker that you can go talk to with the Q&A panels and stuff like that. And there's a lot of interesting people there, ranging from YouTubers to veterans in the video game world. I believe there was some speakers that used to did a lot of development for the Sega Genesis and stuff like that. So that's really cool. And there's YouTubers, Pro Jared, Happy Console Gamer, and even the Angry Video Game Nerd showed up, because on Friday he actually had a showing of his movie if you got into Portland early enough. So that was kind of cool. And that's really my thoughts of the Portland Retro Gaming Expo 2014. A lot of fun. I'd highly suggest going with friends, but you'll definitely meet a lot of cool people while you're there. And I cannot stress enough, go with more money than you think you're going to need, but definitely not more than you're willing to spend, because you're going to find a lot of cool stuff there, and a lot of it's definitely worth having if you enjoy that kind of stuff. And if you're a gamer, I'm sure you do. Whether you need to be there for one or both days is entirely up to you. Depends upon how much you want to look through all the games that they have available there, or all the merchandise. Like I said, I went for one day and I really had a good time. Didn't feel like I missed out on anything to be had, personally. Really, the price difference isn't that big. I believe it was $22 for the one day, and I believe it's only $27 for both days. So that's really not a big issue. Really, the only thing is if you don't live in Portland, you got to pay an extra night for your hotel. So, but I highly encourage you guys to go check out this event next year. It's a lot of fun, and you'll definitely enjoy it and not regret it at all. And as always, I'm Zyloc with Media Hindsight, signing out.